Hey Neppers, it's me, Wild Neptune. This video talking about favorite items. Let's go. So what is a favorite item? A favorite item is, or a treasure, is something some Nikkes will get to basically empower their skills. Every favorite item will have 3 stages, and each stage will empower one skill. So in Tui's place right here, it'll be your phase 1 with skill 1, phase 2 for your first skill, and phase 3 for your skill 2. The skill it empowers with each phase depends on the Nikke. Every Nikke will have a quest to get their favorite item, and that quest does have some criteria, which we'll talk about right now. So the first and the hardest criteria to meet for your favorite item is a Nikke has to be at limit break 2. So my Viper right here, which is at limit break 0 as in 1 copy, cannot be favorite itemed because, well, I don't have enough copies of her. Once she gets to 2 stars right here, then I will be able to start the favorite item quest once I fulfill the other requirements. The next requirement is going to be to get a Nikke to friendship 30. So let's click on Sway right here, who I'm actually working on right now. See my affection rank, I say friendship, you know, whatever, is at 19. Well, I have to get them to affection 30. And this is where the limit break criteria comes into, because in order to get to affection 30, you have to be limit break 2. The next thing is going to be getting your collection item, so right here at the top left, this doll here, to stage 15 on the purple one. And I recommend you do this by leveling up a blue one first to 15 by using these blue kits. And once it hits 15, what you can do is you can change and convert it into a purple doll. This eliminates a lot of the just still RNG, right? But generally, mathematically, it's considered to be a better thing to level up your blue doll with blue kits first. And when you transfer, you will transfer into a stage 5 purple doll. And then you can use your purple kits and later on gold kits probably in order to get that to stage 15. This will take quite a while depending on how much you spend and stuff like that. But once you do that and you meet all of those requirements, you are ready to start the favorite item quest, which is basically just reading some story, doing some really easy battles and stuff like that. Basically nothing that difficult once you meet these other requirements to get the items. Now, in order to upgrade the item, you will need to have a maximum of 160 of the favorite item materials to fully level it up. 10 for stage 1, 40 for stage 2, and then 110 for stage 3. Every day, in the outpost, you go to the bulletin board, and you can choose a character you have to get their favorite item as long as you have the academy leveled up to that point. Unfortunately, I already did my outpost today, so I can't show you, but it'll be at the top here. Remember, it's only 3 a day, which is really slow. I really wish they would change this to make it be a little bit faster, but there it is. Other ways to get materials for your favorite items is one of them will be in the solo raid. So in solo raid, you can get favorite item materials, but only for the current season of characters, so no prior seasons. The other way to get some favorite item materials for older units is going to be in the museum. This will be a one-time thing where you can go into here and let's look at the missions right there and go to challenge, and you can see that you can get these boxes, and this is season 1 and season 2, and the next one for the season hall 2 will be for season 3. So we go to the mission here, and go to the mission here and go to challenge. You'll see, you go scroll down and you can get season 3 items for your favorite items. So that's going to be a way where once you progress a little bit more into the game and maybe you want to treasure an older unit and don't really want to spend the time waiting in the outposts to slowly get them. That's going to be how you get those there. The other way to get your favorite item materials is you can convert them on a 5-to-1 basis once you finish your favorite item all the way. So right now my Tuve is at stage 3, so I'll go right here. I can go to my exchange, and let's say I need another more Zwei stuff, right? So for every 5 of these that I already have fully done, I can convert those into one of these Zwei favorite item right here. And remember, this is something you're definitely going to want to do, because once you finish your favorite item, these extra ones, which you will get occasionally, are just, you know, they don't do anything for you, so might as well convert them when you can. Alright, so here we are, tier maker. I already made the tier right here, so this is just going to be basically the order you might want to treasure your Nikke in within each tier. So S, we have the best units. A, you know, a little bit worse overall. B, a little more niche. C, units that you could use but probably don't want to. We have PvP only, then we have just don't. So let's start with the top tier right here. Helm. Helm, probably still the best treasure in the game. It's either her or Moran. It really depends on what you value and what you need. Helm is probably going to be the one that's easiest to get though, because she's in bonus recruit, so you can get her to LB2 pretty quickly. She just offers unprecedented buffs to all of your teams that have her. She is good in raid, in story, and in PvP too. In fact, you'll notice that all 3 of these units are good in every single thing, while PvP only is only good in PvP. Next is Moran, and Moran is a burst 1 CDR once you get her treasure unlocked, and it becomes really, really good. She has a taunt, she has damage reduction, a little bit tricky to use in regular story stages. However, in bosses, she is especially powerful, and the taunt in PvP is really, really strong. So top tier again across the board. Then we have Privity. So Privity, I would say, is only slightly worse than Helm and Moran, but still a top tier unit. And once you get into LB2, once you have these 2 done, or let's say maybe you don't have one of these 2 ready, then Privity is a unit you definitely want to treasure as soon as you can. She offers an extremely powerful damage taken debuff to bosses that are not immune to it, and against a water weak enemy, can do a lot of damage if you have her properly overloaded. So Privity also does a lot of damage in PvP too when used in the right setups. Also, we got Helm also has that on-demand heal in her burst skill, which is also really, really strong in a lot of content also. But yeah, you basically can't go wrong with any of these top 3 here. Definitely going to want to try to get them treasured as soon as possible and up to your stage 3. Next up in A tier, our unit's going to be a little bit less flexible. In fact, these 2 units are basically mostly going to be used in raid content. A little bit in PvP sometimes, even though they're not the top tier picks in PvP. First up, we'll have Miranda. So Miranda is really strong. She has a kit where she will give a Nikke with the highest attack a huge crit rate bonus, basically making the Nikke have 100% crit for 1 shot. This can be cheesed when comboed with other units like, say, Mahara Bond and Chain. Also things like Snow White or Snow White Heavy Arms with the big burst single hit will benefit greatly from Miranda when you have proper manual play with her. So a little bit annoying to use, but definitely worth it when you're trying to do those really big numbers. Drake and Tuve are going to be core to the shotgun team. Now the shotgun team does require you to build 5 characters to make the team, and one of the characters, Summer Dorothy, is unfortunately a limited character, which most players probably like this is aimed at will not have, but hopefully she reruns this summer, maybe. But yeah, the shotgun team has been used in basically every single solo raid since Summer Dorothy has come out. So once you know you are ready to build that team, these are going to be two investments that will be extremely beneficial for the foreseeable future. Next, we have your B tier, and these going to be units that are, kind of filler, more niche units overall. Might not see the most play later on, but right now does have some usage. So the first one is going to be Laplace, and Laplace is one of those characters that is basically hanging on because, man, we really want more iron DPSs that are actually good, and also because Missileless Tower sometimes can be quite a bit of a pain. She does have a Pierce on her burst, which can be nice, so against bosses that have like high defenses, she's pretty good. However, even a while ago, her damage is clearly like lagging behind other meta DPS units, but she's still okay. Next, we have Zwei. So I do think that Zwei's stock will start to rise up a little bit over time. I do think that the next solo raid is Electric Week, that she will see some usage, but we just haven't really had enough to determine whether or not she is a character you really want to invest in. And finally, we have Exia. So Exia is one of my favorite characters, and it really pains me to say that she's not as good right now. Maybe in the next Electric Raid 2, she will see some usage, but even then, even in the last one, she's kind of been being pushed out a little bit. So she's still a decent unit, however, a lot less flexible than the ones above her. In C tier, these are what I call the copium units. Units that can perform okay, but either need a lot of investment or they're just better options. So Julia, again, we don't really have a lot of strong iron characters a lot of the times. So sometimes Julia might sneak into a team. And Viper, she can do some stuff. She's actually pretty okay across the board in all content, so PvP too. However, not really worth investing in above any of the other characters, and even I would say compared to Julia, probably not worth investing in either. So in PvP only, we have one character here, and that's Bei. Bei is a pretty good PvP unit overall. Maybe not somebody you'll use in your SP arena a lot, but in Champion Arena, if you're one of your top 4 plays in your bracket, you might actually use her. So that's why she's here. So not the biggest priority, but once you maybe complete like a few of these, you might want to get her done. She does have maybe the best favorite item wallpaper in the entire game. So, there is that go for her also. And then at the bottom here, we have Don't. Just don't, okay? Don't really bother giving these characters favorite items. Some of them actively makes them worse at what they want to do, which is insane. So let's talk about that really quickly here. Diesel, Prima, and Milk. Not worth doing. Even though the favorite items do make them better, it doesn't make them better enough in order to make them usable in anything. So it's kind of a waste of resources. This is basically only if you kind of want to complete the collection overall and get background stuff like that. Otherwise, don't really do it. Then now let's talk about Senti and Polly, because they both suffer from the same things with their favorite items. Senti more than Polly. Now, so both Senti and Polly's favorite item give out barriers, and they are PvP units, and this is important because Polly's barrier only affects her, so it's not quite as bad, but Senti's one affects the entire team, which is a lot worse. So why is this like a problem in PvP? Well, in PvP, barriers count the same as cover, which means that they generate the enemy's burst. So, in PvP, a lot of the times, the team that bursts first is the team that is going to win. So, if you give the enemy team more burst generation, well, you're basically just helping the enemy team. So, even though, yes, you have your barrier, the barrier is not strong enough to counter the increased burst generation of the enemy team. Of course, there might be some ways or some teams to mitigate this, but these are pretty niche and I would say something that most players will not want to do, because a lot of the characters too that are involved in this, you might want to unload a team with a little combo and things like that. So from what I understand though, Treasure Polly at one point was actually like a meta character for a little bit. I'm pretty sure that time is long since passed. This is before I played. So, yeah. Now, Senti though, unfortunately for me, Senti is one of my favorite characters, and I basically treasured her right away without looking. It's like, oh, okay, my bad, I messed up, my account is now bricked, so now I have a treasure Senti which I have to deal with. So this is just me saying, learn from my mistake, and look before you leap here, because Treasure Senti, in almost every single case of PvP, is just worse than normal Senti, unfortunately. And unfortunately too, Shift Up has a history of not changing stuff like this. So don't count on anything happening with your kit or favorite item, anything like that, because that's just not how Shift Up operates, unfortunately. I hope you enjoyed this video on favorite items. If it's been helpful for you, please give me a like, a comment, description, all that good stuff. If you have any questions, please leave in the comments down below. Anyways, I'm Neptune. It's been a good one. Till next time.